Which martial arts actually work in MMA? The first UFC event put Brazilian Jiu Jitsu on the map. It was almost seen as a superpower, a must learn. It defeated everyone. And over time, different martial arts rose to the top and people started cross training, and now we have MMA. And since then, different styles, different regional styles, smaller martial arts and different blends of martial arts have been proven effective. From striking arts in the West and striking arts in the East, grappling in the Caucasus regions, Japan and South America, many people always ask, what are the best martial arts for MMA? So today I'm ranking martial arts for MMA, not self-defense. And I rank them based on how effective they are for martial arts and how well they may pair with other martial arts as well. I'll break down how they work, where they fall short, and how they fit into MMA. I just got this tier list here with a bunch of martial arts, and it starts with Aikido. Let's just put this one in F straight away. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm going to put Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in A tier, and that's because although you might not see a lot of people who are sole Jiu-Jitsu fighters becoming champs, it's something you need to have in MMA. If you don't know anything about Jiu-Jitsu, you've taken out a whole aspect of the game, and anyone who's at least the experienced white belt will fuck you up. If you're on the ground and you don't know anything about guards, reversals, sweeps, submission defense, you're fucked. Even if you're just a wrestler, you're used to not putting your back on the mat and not fighting in guard, because you lose if your back touches the mat. So all the fighters that you think of that aren't traditionally grapplers or that might have crossed over from kickboxing, they still had to learn jiu-jitsu to defend against, to know what they're doing. So that's why Brazilian jiu-jitsu is an A tier. It's all about leverage as well. So if your technical ability is better than your opponent and they're stronger than you, then you're able to pin them down, control them, and get a submission. And those submissions can affect the fight. Threat of submission and control time on the bottom might make your opponent not take you down. Next up is boxing. Now I've seen other YouTubers will put boxing around C or B because they just believe that it's too limited and there's only 2 limbs, and they have a point there, but boxing's A tier as well. Boxing is the foundation of your striking. It doesn't matter what striking art you do, Sanda, karate, kickboxing, Muay Thai. If you don't know how to punch, if you don't know the mechanics of a punch, boxing fundamentals, you can't defend basic shots, then in small 4-ounce gloves, you're completely fucked. Because at the end of the day, it takes less energy to throw a jab, throw your backhand, than throwing a spinning hook kick, a body kick. The only strike that you can somewhat say is low effort, the only kick that's somewhat low effort is a chip style calf kick. We're seeing recently top level strikers who have poor boxing defense and understanding of boxing get caught. You look at Israel Adesanya, he got caught. You see a lot of other mistakes fighters make that a lot of boxing purists laugh at. How many years do we hear you can't use head movement here, you can't use head movement in MMA, yet we see tons of fighters use head movement in MMA. We're seeing the current dominant fighter Ilia Topuria using high level boxing, and it's not that advanced, they're using just the fundamentals. And you can build off your boxing. If you can find your jab on someone, you can find a whole lot of other things. Next is Ninjitsu. Not really a martial art because Ninjitsu teaches more stealth tactics and using weapons. It's not really hand-to-hand combat. In the same way, Krav Maga is not really a martial art, so F tier. I believe it's a Capoiera. Put that in D tier. There's a few kicks that they throw that are good where you leverage your whole body, but you're going to have to be high level to do this, not only technical wise but knowing when to throw it. Those kicks are good for creating distance, so we see a lot of times McGregor did this just to create distance, and anytime his opponent was moving away from his left hand, he would use these kicks and Taekwondo kicks to keep them on the line he wants. Training Capoeira is good for the body because a lot of that flowy style training and keeping supple, and your fascia gets trained, so that it will help your overall athletic ability because you'll be loose and you'll be nice and supple. But skill wise, technique wise, to actually help you in a professional fight, D tier. Next up is catch wrestling. So this is basically wrestling with submissions. It's more aggressive, but I wouldn't say as high level from what I've seen. I'll put that at C minus, maybe even C. I might change it later. You get the feeling of almost no-gi jiu-jitsu in it, where you're grappling with wrestling included and the submission, so you have that feel for it. You can't just stay around, move around. You can't just base out in wrestling and feel safe because there's no submissions. You have that element there, so you're used to it. But compared to actually training the other styles of wrestling that will come up, or jiu-jitsu, it's not as effective. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu compared to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What's the difference? Gracie Jiu-Jitsu emphasizes the basic techniques that anyone can do. So they don't try to teach you, for example, if you're doing an arm triangle in side control, they won't teach you to cartwheel over and jump over because they believe not everyone can do that. They think they want to teach techniques that a 60-year-old man can do, a middle-aged woman can do after months of training. So techniques where you require high level athleticism and really high level training, they don't put a focus on this. So for that, I'll put a B- for now, maybe even C. Actually no, B- because it's still jiu-jitsu. But we see in high level competition how people use their skills. So if you have long limbs, if you're explosive, if you're highly flexible, they will almost invent new submissions or take shortcuts and sequences in jiu-jitsu. Like you weren't in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you weren't learning what Demetrius Johnson did, where he suplexed into an armbar. Like they just won't teach you that. Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, C- because even though it's the original, they don't pressure test, so they don't compete, they don't roll as much, and it's almost more like you know how you see modern karate, a lot of kata, a lot of grading. They don't have that same constant rolling and going to competitions and pressure testing it, so C-. And next up, I think this is Jeet Kun Do. Jeet Kun Do I'll put at D. Jeet Kun Do is almost like the first form of MMA. It's more philosophy. It's like take what's useful, discard what's useless. It's that whole Bruce Lee philosophy. It's about standing nice and square with your strong hand up front, so you can always have an intercepting jab and not being inefficient. You can take elements of it. They have an element of creativity. So if you look online, there's people who show punching behind their head like that when they're in an uncomfortable position. You should just take the idea of Jeet Kun Do about being creative and not being inefficient, and they put an emphasis on the center line and attacking the center line and defending your center line. You should have that in mind. Have that approach of always learning something. But most of their techniques are kung fu, and it's not as practical. You can take a few techniques from there, but each practitioner of Jeet Kun Do has different techniques. That's the whole point. It's like mixed martial arts. Not everyone has the same techniques. Some people have a tornado kick and some people have a low single.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
Next up, Judo. Judo I'm putting on the same level as Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Judo is very effective, but the problem with Judo is, firstly, they always train in a gi, so they don't have as much training in a no-gi, and a lot of techniques you can't pull without holding a lapel and holding onto the gi. Secondly, most of these Judo techniques works up against the cage, very dominant against the cage. You see a lot of the Sambo fighters that come from Dagestan, they will use Judo techniques against the cage, and it works in the clinch. But it's hard to get someone against the cage, and it's hard to force a clinch. People can just, when you're trying to get an overhook on someone, they can just disengage because they have the underhook. It's hard to enforce that game, and it's dominant so in the situations where you can use it, like against the cage when you're cage wrestling, very dominant. But apart from that, there's not much uses for it. Cali, Eskrima, I'm pretty sure this is like Filipino weapon martial arts. I'm just put that in F. Unless you're getting reaction time from parrying, I don't see why you would use that. Kenpo Karate, so this is American style karate. Now I did do karate as a kid, Shotokan style. I don't know too much about what's different with the Kenpo style, so for now I'm gonna put it at C, the same level of catch wrestling. And then this karate, I'm guessing, is there Krav Maga? I think it's just this. Okay, I'm gonna put karate at B-, little bit of bias here. Now, Shotokan Karate, very in and out style. You see Leo Machido use this. Wonderboy did do Kenpo, but he has the same in and out movements. So, I don't know, maybe Kenpo is somewhat like it. It's very good for timing, rhythm, in and out movement. Shotokan Karate puts an emphasis on one shot ends the fight. So you see a lot of coming in, right hand, back out. Now, why this is good for MMA is that in small gloves, you can get knocked out easily and you can knock someone else out easily, so you don't want to get hit a lot. Now, if you just rely on karate and you don't have good boxing, when people pressure you, you're not going to have good defense, you're not going to have good head movement. A lot of times they punch with their head straight on rather than moving their head when they're striking. A lot of times they might try to jump out too much and be on the back foot, and then when they get pressured, they run out of space. This happens to me in sparring quite a lot. Also, traditional karate was more like mixed martial arts, where I had a lot more trips and takedowns and submissions, but over time that all kind of got dissolved and it just became this striking art. So they don't have grappling, of course, and then if you're not used to grappling and you're in that wide stance, you might get single legged a lot. You won't have a spool. So whatever, if you have good boxing, good Muay Thai, maybe good Muay Thai kickboxing, and you bring that karate element into it, it's very good. You just need to know how to pressure. You need to be good at that bounce and having a good rhythm and having a good off rhythm. You need to have good timing, and yeah, make sure you're just training everything else, just like a lot of stuff with this. It's good for more long guys, more explosive guys, people with good reach as well. If you have very good reach, you can play that out. You can outfight quite a lot with this. So yeah, if you're minimizing interactions in the fight, you're controlling the fight. You're controlling when they shoot on you, when they're trying to catch you, when they're trying to counter you. But it can also be tiring. Kickboxing, B. Yeah, any form of kickboxing that's, unless it's waist down, because that's basically a sport karate. So your K1 kickboxing and glory kickboxing. Of course, they don't have their elbows and their clinch is kind of limited, so they're not as experienced in the clinch. But yeah, it's complete striking except for the elbows. You're getting decent boxing, you're getting good striking, pretty much MMA striking from a basic point of view is kickboxing / Muay Thai. Yeah, it's basically that. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, and you train a bit of boxing. For a long time, wherever you came from, you do a crash course in Muay Thai, kickboxing, you go in there, you're throwing a few leg kicks and a few boxing combinations to a body kick. The problem with kickboxing is, firstly, stance. You stand more square. Even the K1 kickboxers, where they're a bit more bouncier than Muay Thai fighters. When you're more square and standing tall, you're more susceptible. Your hips are more accessible, so the double legs there, or just any takedown where you shoot onto the hips. Unless you're training your boxing, your boxing defense might be shit and you're just used to leaning back or pushing a teep in there. If you're over reliant on kicking, wrestlers can catch your kicks, especially if you're throwing kind of Thai style kicks and you're not snapping them and you're not creative with your timing of it. So yeah, very good for striking, but you need to be training your boxing with it and adjusting your stance, making it a bit wider, a little bit lower. Krav Maga worldwide, F. Krav Maga is basically you've learned some of these things and just put more illegal stuff on it. And from what I've heard, it's just a bit of a propaganda push. But imagine you got any MMA fighter, right? Okay, Charles Oliveira. Just tell him, oh yeah, instead of teeping the body, teep his dick. When you take him down, just dig your elbow into his eye socket. Just make it a street fight, make it ugly. Just fucking kick their balls, oblique kick their knee in, rip their knee in a heel hook, and then suffocate them. Just basically that. So there's no point of training that for MMA. I think this is Kyokushin Karate. What do I put this at? Okay, they have leg kicks, karate doesn't. I'm gonna put it at C. It's more like Muay Thai, but Dutch kickboxing is basically Kyokushin Karate and Muay Thai combined. That is more effective. Kyokushin Karate, they don't train with punching to the head. Obviously they learn it, but they don't spar punch to the head. They stand right in front of each other, very square. You do that in mixed martial arts, someone's just gonna dive, clinch you, throw underhooks on you, catch you with shots, your center line's completely exposed. Boxers will love that, just gonna rip your center line. Longer fighters, wider bladed fighters are just gonna side kick you and throw long linear attacks to your center line. But there's some good techniques. They have good triangle kicks where you kick with the toe, so your lead leg oftentimes is kind of weak unless you're kicking the liver. But if you go with your toe, you can just dig it in the ribs, dig it in the liver. Those kicks are effective, and they train it from close range as well, so you get used to kicking from close range. Next is Lethwei. Okay, I'm gonna do Muay Thai first before Lethwei. So Muay Thai, I'm gonna put. Shit, where the f did I go? Okay, Muay Thai, I'm gonna put in B, but just higher than kickboxing, purely because they do more clinch and they train with elbows, and yeah, it's more limbs. Only problem with Muay Thai is a lot of modern Muay Thai fighters, they think Muay Thai is just this. You go to your local Muay Thai gym and they're just teaching you to stand like this. A lot of modern coaches, they don't teach their fighters to move their head. It's very slow paced because of that the Thai style, the authentic Muay Thai style. Because of gambling, they start slow and then ramp up later. They start very slow, they put most of their weight on their back leg. Their boxing's pretty shit. They just rely on teeping all the time. If they're getting pressured, teep, and then people can just jam that kick. Yeah, and the movement isn't there. It's just a lot of maybe marching. But then if you look at some modern Muay Thai fighters like a 1FC, maybe from Europe as well, they put elements of boxing in, or certain old school Muay Thai fighters like Samat Paikroon, they were almost like Muhammad Ali, the way they would float around, putting kicks in and boxing and moving their head. So if you have that style, like the golden era Muay Thai, very effective if you just put a bit more boxing and you get your grappling in. But a lot of these modern Muay Thai fighters, they limit themselves so much. So many young fighters just limit themselves with basic Muay Thai striking, just relying on throwing that rear kick into their opponent's close side and just get taken down. Lethwei is Muay Thai but with headbutts, but I'm just going to put it at B because it's not as much of a sport right now. I'm guessing not as many people train it, so I don't know where you're going to train it. Maybe it's actually higher because you learn a bit more lethal techniques, but some of those techniques are probably illegal. Mixed martial arts, just why would I put that in? Silat, again, that's going to be the same as Kali. What's this? Okay, I believe this is Systema. If it is, it's like better Krav Maga because it's like police techniques and military techniques using martial arts. I'm gonna put it at D because if you're learning how to illegally break someone's limb, you're not really gonna put that in MMA. There's probably 1-2 techniques you could pick up from it for grappling. Taekwondo, I'm gonna put same level as Kyokushin. Very similar principles to Shotokan Karate. In and out, good distance, good rhythm, good timing. You see with these Shotokan fighters and Taekwondo fighters, if you're looking at people like MVP, Karate, Wonder Boy, McGregor has that style as well. Leo Machida is very good, but same problem as well. You can get pressured a lot. Your head might stay on the center line a lot. You might not have good boxing, so you're not good in the pocket. And Taekwondo, they only compete with kicks, like a few punches. And if you look at Taekwondo competitions, those punches aren't great. But yeah, a lot of good flare kicks that can catch opponents out. You know, we saw recently Mauricio Hufi with that spinning hook kick. Those kicks are good for pressuring if you're high level and you know how to use them. You can just pressure your opponents with kicks rather than going into their space, and you can maintain your distance. And yeah, those flare kicks can catch people out. You can keep that element of surprise, and you just be more unpredictable. Tai Chi, I put in an F. It's good for training flow and keeping nice and mobile, but I don't know what you're gonna put into it. Wing Chun, D. A lot of Kung Fu techniques aren't applicable. It's not pressure tested as well. They don't compete. There's no pro circuit. But some of the hand trapping things and parrying is effective. You've seen Anderson Silva use this. Maybe in the future there'll be someone who's able to use this more in the pocket. But if you can slip and roll and block and step back and long guard, or you can do hand trapping parries, you're probably going to choose the former. Yeah, you're going to have to be extreme. You're going to have to have really good reaction time and a lot of training to try and pull off these techniques. But yeah, the oblique kick does come from Wing Chun, I believe, or maybe another type of Kung Fu. So yeah, there's some techniques you can use. Wrestling is this folk style. Was there wrestling here before? Okay, wrestling I'm putting in A. Freestyle wrestling is A. Folk style, A-. So folk style is the one they do in America. The reason I say freestyle, which is the one the rest of the world does, is in A. It's because when they go to the ground, if you don't do something on the ground within like a few seconds and actually advance, then you reset, I believe. So and because of that, they're really good at shooting, and the penetration step and all their shots are fast and high level. This is why Kamzat, that style of wrestling, is really fast, really effective, really good. While other fighters, you know, like right now, Bo Nickel, they're going against people who just started training MMA a few years ago, training wrestling, who just learned good takedown defense, cage wrestling defense, keeping distance with striking, and they're struggling with some of these fighters. So because of that, folk style, A-. Wrestling, A. And you need to have wrestling. Everyone knows it dictates where the fight is. If I'm a high level striker, but the other guys are way better wrestler than me, and I can't defend his takedowns, I'm getting taken to deep waters. If that guy's a better grappler than me and can choke me out and break my arm, but I have better wrestling, I can prevent him taking me to the ground, and I can then strike him. And it gives you an option. You need to know wrestling. If you don't, it's just going to be like the 90s and noughties when they get some random striker to come in and they just get taken down. Or we saw with Mighty Mouse versus Rod Tank. Sambo, I'll put in, where did I put Judo? I'll put it in B, just above Judo, because Sambo is basically like a type of mixed martial arts with a jacket. They have a lot of judo techniques, some striking, some wrestling, so you're kind of training MMA, but not everything, with a lot more rules. But again, the problem with this is more effective in the clinch and against the cage. So if you can do that, very high level, as we see with these Dagestani fighters. But people think just because those fighters were successful that it's because of Sambo. It's not just because of Sambo, it's because their coaching is very high level and they have very good game plans, one. And secondly, once they become successful, they come to America where they get better striking, they get better coaching, they get better traditional wrestling as well. Some of these Sambo fighters people think have high level wrestling, it's actually high level Sambo. It's not Kamzat level where they're shooting from the other side of the cage, they're having to clinch. We saw with Shavkat against Ian Gary that, you know, if you're not good at shooting in open mat, yeah, and you're relying always on the clinch and against the cage, it's easy to kind of prevent that. Sanda, Chinese kickboxing, I'll put that on B. Very underrated. People don't, it's kind of underrated. There's a lot of footage you can watch of Sanda fighters fighting. It's just another form of kickboxing, so just maybe watch some Sanda videos, techniques, and watch some of their fights as well. I think Kudo, some sort of like Japanese style mixed martial art. I don't really know much about it, so I'm not going to rate it. And just for balance, I'm going to put MMA there. What have I missed out that wasn't here? Greco-Roman, I would put on Greco-Roman I put on B- because it's only upper body but in the clinch effective, but again the same problem, you have to get into the clinch. Are you good enough? Are you high level enough to flow your striking into a clinch or defend takedowns into a clinch? Yeah, so a lot of those upper body techniques where you're throwing people is really good, really good. Only problem is, again, that I didn't point out for some of the other ones. In mixed martial arts, because of no-gi, if you're sweaty, you can pull out of a lot of stuff. If you're deep in if someone's got underhook on you, if someone's trying to grab your wrist or whatnot, and you're sweaty, you can just pull out of it and slide out of it. And it's hard. You got to really, get the underhook and grab the top of the trap and grab the lats, and yeah, it's a bit hard. So that's my ranking. If you disagree with anything, just let me know in the comments, or if you want me to do another part with more niche martial arts, you can do that. What I'd advise is you try and train everything from C and above, and then if you're ever bored or just want to try some new techniques, look at C and below. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Hopefully this all recorded.